सच्चिदानन्द परब्रह्मा पुरुषोत्तम परमात्मा श्री भगवती समेत श्री भगवते नमः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्द परब्रह्मा पुरुषोत्तम परमात्मा श्री भगवती समेत श्री भगवते नमः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्द परब्रह्मा पुरुषोत्तम परमात्मा श्री भगवती समेत श्री भगवते नमः। श्री भगवती समेत श्री भगवते नमः। श्री भगवती समेत श्री भगवते नमः। श्री भगवते नमः। श्री भगवते नमः।
त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेवा।
भगवान अम्मा भगवान अम्मा भगवान हरे हरे अम्मा 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 भगवान हरे हरे अम्मा भगवान हरे हरे। ಭಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಹಾಡಿ ಶರಣಾದೆ ಭಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಹಾಡಿ ಶರಣಾದೆ ಭಕ್ತ ಪರಾಧೀನನೇ ನನ್ನ ಭಗವಾನ್ ಭಕ್ತ ಪರಾಧೀನನೇ ನನ್ನಮ್ಮ ಆದಿ ಪರಾಶಕ್ತಿ बोलो शिशि मनम भगवान की जय।
ಸತ್ಯಲೋಕದ ಚೆಲುವ ಭಗವಾನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ
Welcome to you all. Love you all. So first, we would speak for a few minutes about the process, and then we would take up the questions. So end of the year 2021, we reached the number 23,000 and odd. We began with 16,000 plus in the month of January, and we reached 23,000 plus towards December 2021. Now we are into 2022. At the end of almost at the end of January, we are at 17,000 plus. We are 1,000 more than what we were last year. Now generally it will be low in the beginning of the year, and it will pick up as we go along. So though we are at 17,000, it will pick up. It's more than last year, and we hope to reach 40,000 by the end of this year. Now we have, let us say, last time 20,000 plus people. If each of you could get one person in the next 11 months or so, we would be at 40,000. Now our idea is to get to 40,000 by end of 2022. And then next year, if two of you could get one person, by the end of the year, we would be at 60,000. And then in 2024, if three of you could get one person, we would be at 80,000. We would, though we will be calling it a 74,000 Diksha Yajna, it would be, what we would need might be around 80,000, because the population is likely to be around 8 billion. So we would like to reach 80,000, that's the ultimate figure, by the end of 2024. In 2025, the work starts. That is the changing of the consciousness of the people for the whole of humanity, changing it into Satyuga consciousness. That is our ultimate goal, is to establish the golden age. Now in the golden age, you are in a different state of consciousness. Now I'll use some very simple ordinary language to help you quickly understand. It's like getting drunk. Suppose a man is drunk and is in a beautiful state. That's how it will be. In Satya Yuga, most of the time they will be in the beautiful state where you're filled with love for everything and everybody. You feel connected, you feel oneness. So all that is there almost all the time, except when you have got to be functioning, doing something. You are mostly in that state. You can be just going on, sitting under a tree or under a rock or looking at the sky. You can just be in that state. Like Ramana is in that state, you can be in that state. A state filled with intense joy and bliss. So simplest way to understand is to be drunk. So we should be in that state. But as the yugas progress, we come down from that state into Treta and then Dwapara and finally now Kali, which is the lowest state. Now it's time for us to go up now. So we want to get there. So when do we start that work? In 2025. So up to that it is preparation. What preparation? 80,000 people and who are enlightened. So it does not stop there. Now you start the journey by becoming a conscious being and then a transformed being, then an awakened being and enlightened being. So the number is around 5,000 people who are completely enlightened. Awakened people, the number is much, much more, but we do not know. Now, a lot of people, the next stage is to have an OBE, out of body experience, to leave your body and to go out and to travel around the earthly plane. You can go to New York or Tokyo and visit your relatives there and checking out whether you're really out of the body or you're imagining something. So all that you can check out. Then you could go around the planets, then through the galaxy, through the galaxies, and then out of the cosmos also, where exactly the other realms begin. And they're too huge. So all that you must start exploring. So that is the OBE. Now, as we move more and more into OBE, little by little, as you start exploring, your perception changes, your understanding changes about everything, about human life, about human beings, about God, everything changes totally. And then we take you into what we call peak states. So ideally, by end of 2024, we would like to have 80,000, or maybe let us say June of 2025, 80,000 people in peak states who could go into peak states at will. That is, you people should be able to go into peak states at will. That is, you must get drunk whenever you want. When you got some work to do, you can come down into Kali Yuga consciousness and do some work and then get drunk and be dancing around drunk. So that's what you must get into. Now, when you get into the peak state, let me use the word the drunken state, then and only then you could transfer the state. If you want to transfer the state, you must move to a peak state. Even if you are enlightened, fully enlightened, you are in an ordinary state. States are different from enlightenment and awakening. You cannot transfer it. But we depend on transfer. So unless you move to a peak state, you cannot transfer that. So now let's begin. So 2025 has come and we have 80,000 people who are able to go into peak states at will. You will transfer your peak state. It won't leave you, but you will be able to give that state to others. That's when the work really begins. When you are able to transfer your state of ananda, great ananda, a drunken state, much more greater than enlightenment, that you are able to transfer. How much time? Just less than half a second, boom, you will be able to transfer your state to the others. Now, the one who gets it, he will be able to transfer that state to others. They who receive that will be able to transfer to others. It will be corona style. Corona's R factor is about 3 or something. It can affect 3 people, but also much, much more. So we will be quicker and faster than corona. So all that you must do is you must hunt the fellow wherever he is and transfer the state. So we will be doing 2 things. One is this 80,000 people on specific days, specific times, the whole globe, we will together move to a state for some time. Now that is the engine, the battery, the power has to be kept on. And then other times you would be transferring the state. Now those who get it from you, if they must transfer the state, then this engine must be on. Unless it's systematically being worked on, they will not be able to transfer. You will be able to transfer, but not they. Even for you to transfer at full power, this 80,000 must at least once in a week or so must together meditate and move to a state. Now imagine a Ramana Maharshi. Some of you who have met people who lived during his time, if you go sit near him, you will find that effect there. Now this would be 80,000 Ramana Maharshis all together. You can imagine the power. And remember, this kind of power, this kind of state is transferable, not only to humans, even to animals. You can transfer it to a dog in your house, your pet dog. States are transferable. That's how it is transferred. That only is the actual Diksha, the ultimate. Where the state is bang, transferred, the highest state. What is the highest state? The drunken state. So that's why sometimes it's called the pranda, it's called a pranda, you know. One who's like a madman. Need not necessarily be, but it's like that. Too high it is. That's the way man should live. That's what this body is designed for, and everything has gone wrong. So working is only for some survival, that's all. But here what's happening, because you do not have that state, life is meaningless, purposeless. Create some meaning, create some purpose, and the life is too boring. So have some entertainment, do this, do that, all kinds of things to escape that inner terrible condition, which we call suffering. So you have to do all things like getting married, then children, this, that, everything, go to that job, this job, work for your promotion, do all the things. What else will you do with your life? It's actually, it is not meant for you to become this or become that. It's only meant for you to enjoy that state. Nature took almost 14 billion years to produce you to go and work in some office, to be operating a computer, or by doing some mathematics. What is the whole purpose behind it? It's totally meaningless and purposeless. But in Kali Yuga, we certainly need that meaning, that purpose. A little less in Dwapara, it goes on like that. But that is not life. Life is to be in this state. And the whole of humanity has to be there. How could you alone be enjoying the state when you see somebody suffering? It's not possible. You cannot keep quiet. But the state, fortunately, is transferable and no sadhana on his part. He can just sit before you, look into him, he'll tell you what to do. It is transferred. Suppose he refuses to look into you, then also you can transfer. That also will teach you. So nobody will be left. It will completely be, the corona is the best example for you. You are the coronavirus. You will spread. The state goes into everyone. And then what happens? In no time, it's all over. Whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, you have faith or no faith, atheist or what not. Finished. Then thereafter, he must be able to move into the state at will. You can't always be in that state. You have some work to do. So you'll come down and then go back. No work, you won't be wasting your time on the cell phone or watching television, but you'll be into that state. That state really cannot be described. You have to experience it. And now, about 5,000 people are enlightened now, whom we have checked out. I do not know how long we'll be able to check it out because the workload is becoming too much. Much more are in an awakened state. So that's more easy to get there. And then there are people who are regularly doing OBEs now. So they're nicely exploring things. It's going on quite nicely, but not too many people, but quite some number are having OBEs. And then there are those who are also able to get into peak states. But they have still not come to the point where they can transfer it. I think it may happen a few months later where they will be able to transfer it. But as of now, they are able to move into that state at will. People who work in the outside world, when they have to do some work, they bring down the state and they work. Some are professors, some are this, some are scientists, they work, and then they are again getting back. Some are doctors, all kinds of people are there, some housewives. So, but there are some people who are able to function even in that state. So there are people like that also. So some people are switching it off and then working, then getting back. Others somehow are able to manage the work in that state, slightly reducing it but continuing to work. And they use the words, we are drunk now. So many are started getting it. So we'll soon have a drunken India, a drunken Tamil Nadu, a drunken Maharashtra, and finally we go for a drunken world, everybody drunk. Think of a world where everyone is drunk and happily drunk. That is Satyuga. If we cannot get there, then the earth can very well go. It's high time. It's a waste. Your life is a waste, the earth is a waste, all the animals, everything is a waste. You can all go. Now when you get into this peak state, it's also affecting the animals. That is the beauty about it. So we have 22, 23, 24. 3 more years we can get there. And before that you will be seeing all this happening also. Like you will see some demonstrations of somebody in a peak state, transferring it, all that you will be able to see. So some of our people will be getting there quite soon, but those who get it will not be able to transfer. Nor will they be able to go in and come out at will. They may have it for some time, then they will lose it. But as you step up the power, they can go and come at will, but still they will not be able to transfer. So that will be at the next stage. When you have 80,000, everything is done. So all that I am going to offer you is, I am going to get you drunk. The biggest possible bottle, which can never be exhausted. Just imagine that. What better life than to be drunk? What is this lower level of consciousness? It's a useless kind of consciousness, this is what you are experiencing. That is how you should live. That's what you have been designed for. Why should nature or God or whatever you want to call create all this for this kind of consciousness? It is essentially suffering only. You are suffering, animals are suffering, birds are suffering, everybody is suffering, the virus also is suffering, everyone is suffering. So we have to somewhere put an end to this. But naturally in Satya Yuga it does come down. But then as the yugas progress, Then slowly you lose it more and more and more, and as you lose that, people become really, really terrible. So that is one thing. So now in today's process, there will be as usual a chant, which it's enough if you, most of you will be knowing that chant. So you can just be listening to it. It will do its work. Not that you have to focus on it and understand it, not necessary. If you do also no harm, but just listening is the key. Everything is going on in the unconscious. So the unconscious will pick it up. You can be doing your work, the unconscious will pick it up. So it's meant for your unconscious. Then you must know that I think last M&M class or the previous one I told you that the main actor is Paranjyoti. He plays various roles. Now people get attached to the roles and not the main actor, the one who's doing all those roles. So now, and I told you we will be, Amma Bhavan will be fading away and Paranjyoti would be taking over. I told you that. So now, to quickly move into enlightenment and to quickly move into OBE and then into the peak state and then to be able to transfer that state, we need a very, very powerful Antaryamin. Only then that is possible. So now what we are telling you is, and what we are going to work for in today's session is, we are going to bring in Paramjyoti as Paramjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan into you. That would be the Antaryamin with the maximum power. We need that much power to get all these things, to achieve all these things. So how do we know? It automatically got revealed during the many processes that we are doing. As people moved into Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan, as people moved into Kalki Bhagavati Bhagavan, as people moved into just Paranjyoti, the power was very different. So we made a study. This is how we pick up how the work should be done. We found that those invoking Paranjyoti Bhagavan were the ones who were flying very, very fast, who could quickly move into OBEs and other things and into peak states, were the ones who were invoking Sri Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan. Now it's actually one only, Paranjyoti only. Bhagavati and Bhagavan represent just two forms of energies, that's all, both of which are operating on you. So, and you can consider them as your father, mother, brother, sister, whatever you want, you can conceive them all, or as male energy and female energy, or as all the female gods put together in Bhagavati and all the male gods put together in Bhagavan. Whatever you want, you can have. But the basic thing is, so just focusing on Paranjyoti, which could happen later on. Now we need this powerful Antaryamin now to get. So it should be Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan. That is the Antaryamin you must have, which was used today, the light form. So that has to become an Antaryamin. Once we get that Antaryamin, then literally we are at rocket speed. Awakening, enlightenment, whatever it is, will fly past you. OBE, then peak state, and everything will fly past you. So you will have to move into that. And that's quite easy. A lot of people, the ones who are literally flying are the ones who are having Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan as the Antaryamin. The others who are flying are who are Amma Bhagavan, and but those who are having other forms, they are not able to move fast. The required speed is not there. So this would also the first step to systematically fade away Amma Bhagavan. Will be taken over by Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan, and of course, and also that will help you to understand when you leave the planet. When you leave the planet and you go there, you'll be seeing us. You'll be seeing Amma Bhagavan. It will make some sense to you. Otherwise, you might be missing out on something. So more of that we could talk later. And then, of course, the teaching today would be the awakened one moves into bird's eye view, mostly it's in the bird's eye view, and sometimes comes down into the worm's eye view. The worm's eye view is a localized view and a narrow kind of view. Let us say you are repairing a tap. That is a worm's eye view. But let us say in human relationships and when you hear some events, you would listen to it from a bird's eye point of view. That is, you see the flow of events, the flow of life, everything placed in a bigger picture. Let us say somebody is shouting, if you just look at the shouting and his words and all those things, and that's a bird's eye view. But you see at the whole flow of nature and evolution, all those things, all forces contributing to that man shouting, then that's a bird's eye view. That's how an awakened and enlightened person sees. That's why he won't react. He simply accepts. There's no judgment. There's no criticism, nothing like that. So, but when you have to be functional, you have to book a train ticket, board into the right train, you will need a worm's eye view. So, effortlessly you would come into the worm's eye view, and effortlessly you would move into the bird's eye view, depending on it. It will happen almost automatically. So, that must happen to you. So, we will be focusing on that single thing at this time. That is to be able to see things not through any effort, but very naturally you will see things, the larger picture you will be seeing, and therefore there is only love there. There is no judgment, there is no condemnation. It's not possible. It just is not possible. There is only love that you will experience. And also today we will be invoking Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan to come into the Antaryamin. That is to fill you with love. Not the love which you know, not that, which you call attachment, not that kind of love. This is totally unconditional, no attachment. Simply it is there for no reason. You see an ant, there's love. It's an elephant, there's love. You see a human being, there's love. Why? No, it's costless. It will come into you. First, we have to fill you with that love. Only then we can move into that great Ananda. Without love, we can't go into that great Ananda. So, we'll be putting, and without this Antaryaman, we can't do that fast. So, you have to slowly filter more and more and more love, just like that. Love is simply there. And that's what people are lacking. There's no love in people. They're more like robots. They're more like machines. Only survival matters. The needs of the self, that's all. They're just not bothered. So now we are going to start filling with love. Like in a petrol tank, they start filling you, we'll fill you with love. Then afterwards, we will fill you with Ananda. That's when you get drunk, completely drunk. So people, of course, will think that you have been drugged, but no drug can give that. This is an extraordinary thing which is there. It is there all the time, no side effects, and you become very, very efficient. In whatever you do, you'll be tremendously efficient when you have this Ananda. If you want to work, you'll work. If you don't want to work, you will not work. See, basically you must understand what is all work. When you work for pleasure, it's fine. When you work for survival, either under somebody or in an organization or in your own activity, when you work for survival, that is slavery, that is. You are just modern slaves. You should not think only 3 centuries ago the grandfather was a slave, 5 centuries ago somebody was a slave. No, 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 no. All people are slaves only. So, because if you don't work, unless your grandfather is giving a lot of money to eat and sleep, you will perish in this world. That's why we have said, karma no bandhat vimuktihi, liberation from all work. You can work if you enjoy it. Otherwise, for your survival, if you are going to work, you are a slave. That means, what happened to him in Bhuloka? He was a slave in Bhuloka. He came back from that slavish life. Might be he learned something. So people are only slaves. And to manage the slaves, you need governments, you need political parties, nations, all these things are required, the law, the police, everything is required because you must maintain it as a slave. But the beauty is you do not know your slaves. The servant in your house, if somebody were to give money, would he be working in the house? Certainly walk away. You have made your servant into a slave. And of course you will say, no, no, I am taking care of him, all that kind of stuff you will talk. But essentially you have made him into a slave. And he is a slave because he has no other go. So all people are slaves. So what should they be doing? Get drunk, that's all. Since you are not drunk, you are willing to be a slave. If you are drunk, how will you survive? You will see then. That does not mean you'll give up your work or shut down things, but you will do it very differently, not the way you're doing it now. So you should not get scared now that I'm going to be drunk, will I work or not? No, no. You can work what you take 3 hours, you'll finish off in 30 minutes. That will be the amount of energy and such clarity will be there. So you don't have to worry about it. Now you only focus on getting drunk, that's all. How can I give something when it will completely stop you from working? I won't do that, no. For that I have to wait for AI to come. If AI comes, no problem. It can do all the dirty work you need not do. That's why we are supporters of AI. So, the teaching will be that the awakened one shifts from a bird's eye view to a worm's eye view and back, depending on the situation. The dasas would expound it to you, would talk about that. So that is the additional thing we'll be giving at this time. And we'll be installing the Antaryaman of Paranjyoti Bhagavati Bhagavan. Paranjyoti only, but as Bhagavati Bhagavan. Then only we generate the full power. So that's the thing I think. So I think I can now move on to the questions now. If I forgot anything, I'll talk in between.
Thank you, Bhagwan.
Excuse me.
Dear Shri Bhagwan, as usual, we have received a huge number of questions, from which we have selected questions which seem to be connected in some way. May I begin with last month's last question, Bhagwan? Dear Shri Bhagwan, it is said in the Mahavakyas that this is the last incarnation. Does it mean that Shri Amma Bhagwan would not incarnate anymore?
Basically, the Mahavakyas refer to Paranjyoti. They are the Mahavakyas of Paranjyoti, not of Amma Bhagwan. That must be understood. Because it starts as, I am the supreme light, I am the supreme love. No? So, it's a revelation coming from Paranjyoti through small children. Children are very ordinary children. It came through them. That is the revelation. So those are the words of Paranjyoti, the great compassionate light. That's why it starts as I am the supreme light. Now that was about I think 33 years ago. Now most of it has happened as the revelations came out. Now, of course, we are down here, Amma Bhagwan, to help establish the work. And it's for Paranjyoti to do and to complete the work. We are only masons doing all the building work. He has run the whole show. Now, let us say we fail, that by 2024 we are not able to get to that 80,000, and just not the numbers, but they must become awakened, they must become enlightened, all that must happen. So once that happens, then finishing of humanity is very easy. Many people are imagining it's going to be difficult. Not at all, because they would be just bulldozed into the state. Now, suppose this fails for some reason, because there also, I told you, I don't talk about it for certain definitive reasons, but the huge negative forces are there. So it may not work out also. In which case, I think Paranjyoti will not make any more attempts. So many attempts have been made over thousands of years. Everything has failed. Nothing has succeeded. So if this succeeds, it would be the first time it would be succeeding, or Paranjyoti would be succeeding. If it does not, Paranjyoti has failed. And I think in that case, Paranjyoti would not be making one more attempt. I think Paranjyoti will accept the fact that the earth would be destroyed and humanity would be gone. So that is the end of this planet. If you go into the cosmos, as you travel, you'll find many planets are destroyed. They were once they are much more beautiful than our planet, because you can go back in time and check. and there were lovely beings there, but finally they also ended in disaster. So many have gone, and we are quite a useless bunch of people. So in which case our time will come very fast. It's very easy for nature, Paranjyoti and nature can tie up and they can fish off. This is better that way, as many people are writing to me, because stop this thing, it's not going to happen. There's nothing but suffering only, you end it. So it can do it in moments if it wants. So that is up to Paranjyoti, that's all. So this could be the last attempt of Paranjyoti, and may succeed, may not succeed, because the negative forces are also there. Most of the time they have been winning. The negative forces do win, they're very powerful. And anyway, it's all, in my opinion, it's all in your hands. So if you could get the people and be serious about this whole thing, I don't see any reason why we should fail. Because at a small level, groups, we have clearly seen how we can do it. We have been able to put people into peak states, we've been able to make them transfer that state, all that we have checked out. We are not going to check out something. All that has been checked out. The only thing is giving that to you people. Giving that power to these 80,000 people who will be directly transferring the other person, transferring the state to the other person. And I told you, less than 30 seconds, you can transfer it. And he can go and transfer. That's how we can handle humanity. Not by having some small program, this program, that program, all that will take you nowhere. That's only the beginning. Unless we do all those things, you won't be here. Now it is to give you that power whereby you will be able to do it. So in that sense, you must understand, Paranjyoti may not make any more attempt, but just say, enough is enough. This whole business, we can't do this with these human beings anymore.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, would India be called Bharat in the future?
Yes, in the next few years, it's most likely to be called Bharat, likely to change in the next few years.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, would India and Sanatan Dharma survive into the future and also achieve greatness as anti-Hindu and anti-India forces are trying to destroy India and Hinduism from both outside India and inside India?
Repeat the question, go slowly.
Yes, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, would India and Sanatana Dharma survive into the future and also achieve greatness as anti-Hindu and anti-India forces are trying to destroy India and Hinduism from both outside India and inside India?
For almost 1,000 years, starting with the Turks and later on the Mongols, who were called the Mughals, they've been trying to destroy Hinduism. We cannot say India because the two are inseparable. Hinduism and India are inseparable. So there was this vast civilization, the Hindu civilization, and there were a number of kings who were there, which might be called their kingdom. There was no country at that time. The same thing in other countries also. If you take China also, China is a civilization, Chinese civilization, with so many kings and kingdoms were there. So also if you take Greece, a lot of city-states. Greece is a Greco civilization, but there were a number of city-states there. So we had the Hindu civilization. We cannot talk about India, but the two are inseparable actually. And India is also a civilization. Today, though we have a country called India, but since the two go together, that's how it has been referred to either in China or in Greece. So it was a civilization. We had so far around recorded history. Unrecorded, we do not know. So many civilizations have come and gone. We had probably around 47, and this Hindu civilization was probably the first civilization. And today it is the only surviving civilization. Among the 47, this is the first one, and this is the only one surviving now. China is gone. So ever since the communists took over, the Chinese civilization is gone. So we are the only surviving civilization. So for 1,000 years we could manage the Turks first, and then the Mongols, who came to be called Mughals. Of course, Genghis Khan did not come into India. Genghis Khan, had he come into India, we do not know what would happen. It might have been good also, because he is more like a Hindu only, Genghis Khan, and is anti-Islam. So we do not know what would happen. But for some reason, he did not come into India. There was some pressing problem in China. Therefore, he went away. So, but we have managed to survive, because that is the agenda of Islam and of Christianity, is that only they should live. Christianity thinks only Christianity must be there. And so also Islam thinks only it should be there. So it is their dharma to go and destroy everything. They have destroyed everything. They have destroyed the Roman civilization, they have destroyed the Greek civilization. Either it was Christianity destroying or Islam destroying. So Iran went, and then Iraq went, and then Iran went, everything gone fat, 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 fat. So only some of these countries survived, like Myanmar and others. So these are all Hindu. Indonesia, Vietnam, and all these were Hindu, and that was taken over by Islam. I don't want to go to how it was done. It was done by actually Chinese people. Chinese people thought Islam took over those things. There was some kind of a clash between the Hindu civilization and the Chinese civilization. Some kings here and some kings there. So you do not even know basic history. So why should I go into all that kind of stuff? So anyway, there were about 800 years, and then the British trying to silently impose Christianity in their own way, very cunningly trying to do that. So for 1,000 years, we lost our freedom. So even today, though we have got independence, we are really not a free people. It is very difficult to come across an Indian who's a free person. When we do come across, they are wonderful people, they are great people in any field, who have actually become free people. No? Most of them are only intellectual slaves. We don't see an Indian at all. And when we do see, they are amazing people who are totally free of this Western dominant, like Bose is completely free of that. And without Bose, there's no Einstein actually. So these are really free people. There are many like that. But otherwise, most of them are just slaves. They continue to intellectual slaves. So they succeeded in their mission. Now they want to physically wipe out now. And we are in a very dangerous situation. So we have survived, but we do not know whether we survive or not. But then you see this 80,000 or 74,000, whatever we are talking, that is tremendous spiritual power. That is like you have economic power, you have military power, you have political power, that power, this power. Spiritual power also is very, very powerful. Using this power, if we can get there sufficiently fast, we would be able to save India and Hinduism. So we are rushing through this thing, not just for saving humanity and all that. That's on the one hand, and because all that will fail if Hinduism and India collapses. Because originally it was Greece, then India, then Greece, then China, were the Vishwagurus for the whole world. 1, 2, 3, it is Greece. Again I'm going there. It is India, Greece, and China. China comes number 3 actually. And with the advent of Christianity, they destroyed Greece. All the great things of Greece and India are very, very close. They did not take, they destroyed. And what was not so good, they took. And Christianized Greece completely. It was gone. So now, we will also be gone like that. So, danger is very real. I am not talking much about it, deliberately I am not talking much about it. But if we can get here to these numbers, we can see that not only India and Hinduism are right. The same word actually, it means both mean the same thing. And we can also make it grow further. We can take it to great heights.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, while Shri Bhagwan has always spoken about oneness, why is Shri Bhagwan now talking about India and Hinduism?
See, there is my teaching. When you are not awakened, do not behave like one. Now, if you read Indian history, you will find, up to modern times, whenever people who are not awakened behave like awakened people, then they only experience hell. When you are not awakened, you must behave like an unawakened person. When a rowdy has come to hit you, you have to hit him back. You cannot show him the other cheek. He'll give you such a blow that the head will fall off. Now, what happened to Pol Pot? Pol Pot, sometime ruled over Cambodia. Communist extremism. So, this is history. I don't know the numbers, few hundreds or few thousands. So, Buddhist monks were slowly, calmly chanting some mantra and they are passing by. So, Pol Pot was there with his military was there, sitting there. So, he called, hey, come here. And he asked them, where are you people going? Something he asked, and they told something. And what do you want? They said, we are searching for enlightenment. The Buddhist monks, very peaceful sadhus, all the time chanting mantras, they are going. He said, I will give you. And he told his troops to open machine gun fire. All were knocked out. And a mound was made of the skulls. Suppose those monks had also machine guns, would he have done that? He would not have done that. What were the atrocities of the Muslims in India? 400 million Hindus were massacred. 400 million, go and check thoroughly where and when. It is the highest genocide in the history of humanity. Not even the Native Americans, not even the Native South Americans, nobody has been massacred the way the Hindus, your ancestors, have been massacred. And those who massacred, do you know, their lineages are still living on the planet. Not that we want to go and kill them, no? They are mostly living in the US and California. So, some of my devotees have gone and met them also. Whose grandfather's grandfather was one giving a gold coin if you chop off somebody's head, a Hindu's head. We have suffered the most. And what all things the British have done? Those extraordinarily cunning people. That they have done. And today, if this goes, where will you be? You may say you might convert to Christianity or Islam. Now, I know a lot of people all over the world who have directly met and spent hours with them. I have met Africans who are ordinary tribal people. I have met Africans on the cutting edge of science, computer scientists, AI, Africans, very brilliant, world class. Now, all of them, whether at that level or the tribal level, they had a certain peculiar inner suffering because their culture is gone, their civilization is gone. Mind you, they had a great culture, they had a great civilization. What we use sometimes in our Dharma, Ubuntu, that is, I am there because of you. That's an African philosophy, that is. Very wonderful people. Diksha can be enormously powerful to them. I had an experience where I was giving them Diksha online. A huge number of these African people had gathered. I said, I am going to give you a Diksha. Before I could complete, they're all blown off. They could pick up. Online, they could pick up everything. So amazing people. Their command over music is amazing. And deal with the very, very beautiful people, wonderful. Some of them are very good looking also. That all, I'm not talking about that. Very wonderful human beings they are. But are lost people. Whether you're a top class scientist, or whether a Christian or a Muslim, it's gone. Because they were not Christians or Muslims, isn't it? They have their own religion, they have their own faith, their own, beautiful it was. Who was the first pharaoh who built the pyramid? He was a black man, an African black man. He's the first pharaoh. Then slowly the Mediterranean people came and joined in, and the fair-looking people came in. But the original pharaohs were black people. There were many great black civilizations. You don't even know about our civilization. How would you know about that? They were all destroyed by these two forces. The Christian and Islamic forces destroyed them. So, even though they are today Christian and Muslim, but the vacuum is there. Similarly, you take a termite mound, the thousands and thousands of termites are functioning inside that. Some are doing farming, some are doing nurses' work, some are doing agriculture, some are doing a security duty. All things are organized in a termite mound. You go and give a kick and throw it down, they'll all become distraught. They'll become wanderers here and there, wandering like gypsies. They would become gypsies, tranquilly remembering their culture. Similarly, that's what will happen to you. You'll all become gypsies. Once the country is taken over by them, you would become gypsies. And let us say you will become a Christian and a Muslim. When they become a Christian and a Muslim, you will become a gypsy only, like these African people. Your culture is gone. Your civilization is gone. But what about the current day Christians and Muslims? You think they're okay? No. Inside that vacuum is there, but they're hiding it nicely. Thinking you come to the correct religion, this, that kind of stuff. The mind is playing games. And once we are gone, those people who become Christians and Muslims, they'll be lost people. They'll also be termites. All would have become termites. So we are heading for that. That is the situation. And this and Hinduism is nothing but science. If you know the science, you'll understand that. Now more and more they're discovering it. It's nothing but science. It is not based on any myth or anything like that. That's what it is. So now, what's going to happen now is, I told you, when you're not awakened, do not behave like one. The Hindus, are not united. You know that very, very well. The anti-Hindu, anti-India forces are very united. Of course, there are many others, not just Christians and Muslims, but there are others also who are anti-Hindu, anti-India forces. Many are there. And some of it you can find out, some you cannot find out. They are hiding. They are everywhere, in every department of life, every department of the government, everywhere they are there. And they are working for that mission. And there are outright traitors who are every section of the government. Everywhere they are, from top to bottom they are there. I can't give you more details. In every walk of life the traitors are there. From a passport office to a post office they are there. Now they are united. Now because they are united, sooner or later they would come to power. The day that happens, you are hanged, you are finished. It's all over for you. So whether we will be able to stop it by getting to those numbers, unless we get to those numbers, we can't stop it. None of what they are very good things people are doing now, but that won't be sufficient. We need spiritual power. So the day they come to power, political power, you can know that the day when you are hanged. Because you are Hindus, you are all hanged. And they too are hanged, the Muslims and the Christians, they too are hanged, others also. Because without India, without Hinduism, even though you may say I am this, I am that, it's no use it is. Go to Africa and check for yourself. You will be gone. So that is why I am telling you, become awake. Of course, in my dharma, there is no religion, there is no country, nothing is there. But we are working for that. Let that happen. When that has not happened, it's like you going showing your face to a gunda. You just cut off your head. That's what will happen. Look into history. More and more of it is getting published now. Before that, it was all kept suppressed. What all was done to our women, you will know. What all was done to our priestly people. You must go and see the horrors. And how our history has been twisted, creating all kinds of nonsensical narratives. So, we are still not actually a free people. We are an independent people, that's all. Country is an independent, supposedly an independent country. But then we are not a free people. They occupied your minds. And your doom, after 1,000 years, your doomsday is coming now. Their one goal is the whole world has to be converted. When would Christ come back? When everybody has become a Christian, Christ would come back. Now, when everybody has become a Christian, where's the need for Christ to come? It's all over, isn't it? And you must establish the Islamic Caliphate and the Sharia imposed on you, and the Taliban sitting on your head. All that will happen in no time, much faster than you imagine. See how quickly they fell. Egypt fell about 20 years or so, that's all. Iran, I think maybe 30 years, I don't know the exact figures. Mostly 30 years, 20 years, they fell. Only India, of course, India also lost. Because the Hindu civilization was into Afghanistan, and it was into what you call modern day Pakistan, then it was also into Burma. That of course Buddhism, it's all like Hinduism only. So it was Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, all this was only Hindu only. Of course some of it we lost to Buddhism. So, but then we have shrunk. If you go earlier, we were much bigger physically. We are shrunk because they took over. And finally we are crushed here in India, and here they want to give us the final blow. That is, we should be finished, because we are pagans. We are idolaters, no? We worship the idol. We believe in many gods. So we are pagans. We have to be saved from sin. We have to be saved from hell. And therefore, to earn salvation, they have to finish us off. India and Hinduism must be gone. They are working for the full speed, they are working. Starting from American universities down everywhere, they are working. Very silently it's being done. A lot of our media is in their hands. And Western media is a very cunning media. They're all out to finish us off. And what does the average Hindu know? He knows nothing. He is struggling for life. He is in poverty. Life is terrible for him. You can't expect him to think of these things. And the middle class who can think about this are totally self-centered. They are not bothered. Oh, so what? I'll become a Christian. I'll become a Muslim. A lot of people have come and told me, Hindus, what is it, Bhagwan, you're talking? I'll become Muslim, so what? I'll become a Christian. What's the problem? He must become, then he will know. After whole of India is gone, then the tamasha will be seen. Now converting is not a great thing. Then you will see. So that is why I have to speak about these things. It's a danger to our own work. By the time we finish humanity, this will all be gone. And you have no future. So now we move on to the next question.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, how would India become great country?
See, one thing, all said and done, unless we become prosperous, unless we wipe out poverty, we can't win this battle. Now, the only way we can do this is by achieving very fast economic progress, very, very fast. Now, that is only possible through the downloading of very high levels of technology, strict downloading into the heads of our youth. Now, I've spoken earlier, which some of you might be knowing, there's a point of energy which moves around, and depending on that, that country will progress in all fields. India was progressing very, very much a long time ago, when that point was shining over India. Of course, it moved away towards Europe, and Europe rose and we collapsed. Now that point is shining over India now. It started happening, it's shining over India now. So now we will be in a position to download very high levels of technology into our youth. Thus, we will be overtaking the other people. With that level of technology inside us, in every field we are going to race through. That's what is going to save India. So I want the spiritual power for downloading into our youth, wherever they are. I want to download into their heads the necessary intelligence, the necessary insight, the necessary visions, right into their heads. How do you think this sewing machine came to existence, there was this man who was trying to invent the sewing machine to save his sister or mother, I do not know, from this nuisance of going on stitching with hands, drudgery of stitching with hands. So one day in his dream, he had somebody, he was put in a drum by Africans. The drum was heated, and one man came with a sword to punch him, the sword, not sword, spear. That was the breakthrough. So earlier he had put that needle somewhere, and it was not working. Now seeing this, there he saw that punching thing. He said, this is it. He put that needle, the thread there at the point shown in the dream, and the sewing machine began to work. That's how we have the sewing machines. We have all this. So that was simply revealed to him, and he was working for that. Therefore it got revealed to him. So similarly, as our youth begin to work for India to make it grow, I'll be able to download, go on downloading. Whether it is scientific insight, technological breakthrough, anything we can do. And we have to race through. Time is running out. And with this, we can become a very rich country. We can wipe out poverty. You have to search for a poor man. It will become like that. We can liberate you from work also. A lot of useless kind of terrible work that people are doing, you can free them from that. So to make this happen, we need the spiritual power to do it fast and in a big way. Otherwise, time is gone, lost. So let's hope we will get there.
Thank you, Bhagwan.
The spiritual power must know is very much like economic power, military power, but tremendous power is there. Now, suppose we had 80,000 people right now, we could have stopped the corona immediately. That is our power, no? But we are not there.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, how best to prepare for whatever Dharma offers?
Yeah, it's very simple. All this we can do. All that you have to do is, depending on your time availability, you watch the Alaya Darshans, you watch the Gurukul, you watch the teachings we post like Dharma 1, 2, 3, 4. It won't take much time. It will take about 7 to 8, 9 minutes, that's all. And that may take about some 20 minutes. So it's not much time. And we put you into a very good sleep where most of the magic happens inside slowly. And finally, one day you see everything is happening. So it's not difficult or it is not tough. So all that is basically free. Only for the havans and some small rituals where they charge 108, 216. So Dharma is virtually free. And this we are charging the 1500 rupees because you will not be serious. We can very well give it free, but then it will completely fail. There was a very great lady in India, I don't want to give those names. She was about to be made the President of India. She refused. She said, I don't want to be President of India. So when I met her and I began this work, the first thing she told me is, if you go free, you will fail. People have no respect for it. They will not take it. Your entire work will fizzle out. For heaven's sake, don't lose all things by making it free. So 1500 rupees is to show that you have some commitment. That's why but suppose we let us say we make it free, people will come. We can reach 80,000 tomorrow. But then they would be just careless. They would just not bother about it. So that's why we have to charge that. Economically, it's not going to help us in any big way. But then we will know that you are serious. Because some people are asking, why not you make it free? Yes, but how do we know you will be serious? You just won't be serious. That is human nature, not to blame you, it is human nature. Yes. What was the question?
How best to prepare for water Dharma?
Yeah, you can see we are doing a lot of things. We are doing Anadeshan, we are showing Gurukul, and then we are posting the Dharma 1, 2, 3, 4. All that we are posting, no? So it is enough if you keep watching this and attend this Atma Sakshatkaram, this process, and Bhagavad Sakshatkaram, and that's all, it's all over. What's it basically asking you? We are asking you to sleep. Nothing more than that. Please allow us to work on you. If you sleep, you are quiet. All the mischief is in the unconscious, which we will handle. Asking you to work, nobody is going to work. You can be very clear. Nobody, there are people of course, but by and large they are not willing to work. Even 10 minutes, 10 minutes they are saying, and what are they doing? They are only on the cell phone, they are watching some TV or some movie, that's all. They talk as if some very serious work is involved, they are going to save the planet. They will say 10 minutes. They say time is so precious. But what are you doing with your precious time? A lot of youth, time is so precious, so difficult. I can understand if you are preparing for an exam or doing some research, nothing like that. You are talking to some nonsense with your girlfriend. I am not saying don't talk that nonsense, you can talk, but there is still time for that. You can go on talking to a girlfriend afterwards, once you have got the job done. All the time speaking on the phone, both boys and girls. A boy picks up the phone and every 10 minutes he's speaking to some girl, this girl or that girl. The girl picks up the phone, speaks to this boy or that boy. I am not against any of these things, it's your life, your business, completely, no? My only thing is to take you to a peak state. So what you do is your business. And finally you land up in hell, it's your business. So I am not concerned about that. But the thing is, very precious life. And how long this tamasha after talking to the girl, the boy will last? A few more years, the chemicals will change in the body. And you cannot even generate those feelings, it's gone. And the way they are playing with the lust, soon lust itself will be gone. And with lust gone, your life will be too boring. Already it is boring and you are escaping the lust, and lust also will die. That also can't go on and on and on, you know. The body will say enough of it. And finished you are. Anyway, I think I am going off the track. Move on.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Is Sri Bhagwan, dear Sri Bhagwan, is Sri Bhagwan worried about food shortage?
Food shortage. See, as of now, we have more than enough food for everyone on the planet. It's a question of food distribution. If that is set right, with the current food production, the whole of humanity can be taken care of. That's enough. That's all scientific evidence. But now, this question I will not fully answer, but I will tell you something. There's every possibility of a great food shortage is likely to come. Very likely to come. There are people who know about it. For example, I know about it, the Pope knows about it. What the consequences are, I will not talk about it. I have already spoken enough negative things for you, which is very much against my nature. I don't want to be speaking more. So it is important that we focus on our water resources, that we preserve nature, and be prepared for these consequences. So what will happen when there is a food shortage? I leave it to your imagination. That's every chance it's going to happen. If that happens before we get there, it's no use. This work also is gone. It's a race against time, and all the manifestations of Paranjyoti are working for that. All. In their own way. Because you can't work in the same way in every culture. That is very, very dangerous. I would not like to talk more about it. I would like to stop there on that.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Sri Bhagwan, how are Sri Amma Bhagwan are so concerned about us?
A lot of people seem to be asking this question. See, we are concerned about you because you must know how we experience life. We do not experience you as something or somebody separate from us. It is not possible for us to experience life as though you are somebody separate. We might meet a perfect stranger somewhere, but we feel completely one with the stranger. We do not feel the same thing is going to happen to you also. Whatever I am speaking will tomorrow happen to you also. Then only you will know what it is. This is what Bhagavan has been talking all these years. You are under the illusion that you are separate from the other. That illusion goes away. When somebody is hungry, you are hungry. You can feel that. Will you keep quiet? When somebody is suffering because of some problem, you can feel that. And how would you just ignore it? whatever you can do, to a certain limit, you will do. The society might not accept certain things, but you will feel that. Then actually, once you get to that state, you cannot keep quiet. Many people think that yes, they are doing this for this purpose, that purpose. None of those things. You have no other function.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, how to be free of lust?
How to be free of lust?
Yes.
See, normally speaking, only a corpse, a dead body, will be free of lust. It is built into your body to last until your death. Only when you do die, lust will not be there. So that is not a big issue at all. The question is, we make use of lust to escape from our suffering. For example, when you feel insecure, then lust will overtake you. You'll control. Suppose you feel that you might fail in your exams, you might not be able to complete your project, then surely lust is going to take over. The first thing it will trigger is lust. When you are about to face death, lust will trigger. Strangely, death comes, lust triggers off. You're going to fail in exams, lust will trigger. You're going to fail in the interview, lust will trigger. Because failure means insecurity for you. No way to survive. You have planned so hard to get this degree, that degree, go to that job, this job, everything, all that you have planned. Suppose somewhere some doubt comes, whether you will make it or not, then what do? My parents are expecting so much from me, and I want to achieve this, that. I want to marry that girl, I want to do this, do that, all that I want to do. So everything is going to fail because I can't get the job, I can't get the degree, I can't do this. I am talking to you from the actual cases we have handled. All that I am talking are based on real life experiences. I rarely go into something which you do not know, which are directly what we have seen and handled over 30 years, 33 years. So that's what will happen. You have a threatening officer who may dismiss you from service, your lust levels will go up. So your lust is going up because you have a threatening officer there. So whenever there is insecurity leading to fear and leading to things like survival and not able to handle your suffering, then lust gets triggered. So I call this a psychological lust. That makes use of biological lust, which is normally under control only. Nature has correctly planned it out. But then the whole thing is aggravated because of these psychological factors. But lust itself will remain. It's part of nature's design, and it's not a big problem. Very strange things affect this lust thing. So once a very big Pandit, a very famous Pandit, he came and stayed in Satyaloka. So one day he came, he was almost 70 years old. He came one day weeping to me, and I asked him, what's the problem with you? He said, no, Bhagavan, I'm seized with lust. So that's my problem. I said, from when have you been seized with lust? He said 4 or 5 days I've been seized with lust. I told him, can you tell me the place where it seized you? The man was very sharp. He told me I was going near Ramakupam, I was crossing a bridge there, and that's when suddenly overpowered with lust. I told him, I will tell you what happened there, and you will soon be free of it. So I told him, a week or so earlier to this man going there, a couple had committed suicide. They had they could not marry because they were different castes. So they had to commit suicide and they died there. So this man passed through that bridge, and there this lust entered him. And then after this chat with me, in 2 days it was all over. So, but then the thoughts can be stored in walls, in bridges, in trees. The thoughts are something much more different than what you think they are. So from there, this man passed through the bridge, it entered him. And this man was, I'm a spiritual person, I give spiritual talks. What kind of thing is going on? I said, so what? You give spiritual talks, but your lust came, lust went, that's all. Then he became very free. That was also one occasion when I told him about your thoughts are not your thoughts. There used to be a big board, your thoughts are not your thoughts. I expounded that to him and he became free of it. So, because he happened to go through that place. Suppose you are traveling in a train and somebody is sitting there full of lust, it will enter you also. Thoughts keep traveling. See, if you go to Madurai Meenakshi Amman temple, there's a museum inside that. They've actually shown drawings of thoughts moving from somebody's head to somebody's head. And jealous thoughts will go as beautiful red roses. If you see them mystically, you will see nice red roses going. They are nothing but jealous thoughts. They will enter you and you will be filled with jealousy. That's why your thoughts are not your thoughts. So, you should see what is the problem with me. Am I having insecurity about my family, my parents, or my education, my job, or my wealth, or this or that? So, you must check out all these things and work on that, and you will find this extraordinary level of lust will automatically come down. They will come down to normal levels. They will be at one level that you cannot stop. And of course, some kind of foods will aggravate lust. Some kind of atmosphere. Suppose you go near an abattoir or a, let me say, a meat market where they're hanging those lamps. There you're likely to pick up lustful thoughts. Or into modern day hotels, where they'll dim light. With some described the hotel where they must have gone. I don't have to go actually, The person confirmed, yes, that's where I have gone. I can sometimes smell what happened 20 years ago. So, one person came to be a dasa, then I asked him, have you anything to do with bidis? Because I am getting the smell of bidi from him. He has not spoken a bidi in his life. But he's sitting there in front of me, I am getting bidi smell. And then finally he told me, Bhagavan, a few years ago, I was promoting bidis. I was a marketing manager for a bidi company. That was what he did. But I am smelling bidis here. So I can connect that way, and I can see what happened when. So another female dasa came. So one day, she is not there in the order now. So one day she was passing by, I could get some kind of a smell. So I called her and said, do you drink anything very strange? Because I am getting that some strange smell I am getting. He said, a very straightforward person. He said, Bhagavan, before I came to the order, I was drinking neeraj, some kind of a drink in Andhra. So Neera is it? So I was drinking Neera. So how did you know, Bhagavan? No, I am smelling it. So similarly, these things can be picked up, Once you go to higher state, anything can be picked up. Of course, you don't tell people what you are picking up. That would not be good manners. Then they lose the privacy, So, all things are like this. So, many people are worried about lust. They need not be worried about it. It depends on where you have been, with whom you have been, what happened, what kind of news you saw on TV, what kind of imagery was shown on TV. See, I knew of a man, when I first began to expound this, was the man, was a great teacher about the Bhagavad Gita, very great, very famous, and a very famous engineer also. So, one day, I was walking on the road, he was coming by cycle. There was a very big man, he was always cycle only. So, he dropped the cycle and came and fell at my feet. I said, why are you falling at my feet? Oh, I am your guru. He was not my guru, he thought he is my guru. That was his fault, And this has happened to me, so I must apologize to you. I said, what happened to you? He said, no, you see, I was coming by cycle, and then I saw a film theatre called Sangam. I forget the name of theatre in near what's the place? Some place in Chennai, And movie, I think was Sangam or something. I saw the famous film actress in a bikini dress. I saw that, and the next moment I gained consciousness. I was in the theatre, and I am a famous teacher at this, and I am also your guru. But how on earth he thought he is my guru, I do not know, but he assumed because he is an elderly person. So, I am being killed inside because of this lustful thought and the way I behaved. Just by looking at a cinema poster, teaching yoga and expounding on the Bhagavad Gita, I am supposed to be one of the top experts in Chennai. I land up like this. Then I told him, your thoughts are not your thoughts. That's when I first expounded the thing, that the teaching, your thoughts are not your thoughts. Because that poster had done that to him. Now, once he heard that, he became free. Then he said, from now on, you will be my guru. So, this is how it happens, You should not hold yourself responsible. It can come from so many positions, because a lot of people are bugged and worried about this.
Thank you, Bhagwan.
No.
Dear Shri Bhagwan, what is the future of democracy?
Future of democracy, yes. Maybe a few more years, democracy would fade out all over the world. It will fade out. Something else would take its place. What it is, I do not know at this point of time. But democracy will be gone. All over the world, it will be gone. It will be wiped out.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. What is the connection between Sri Ramalinga's work and Sri Bhagwan's work?
Yes. This work is nothing but the continuation of Ramalinga's work. Ramalinga himself had said how it's going to happen. That's the way it's happening now. So, we will be taking on the same path with some modifications depending upon these times. Ramalinga's times were different. These times are different. So, we will be going in a slightly different way, but it's just a continuation of his work. It's basically to fill you with that love and that ananda. That is what he was trying to do, but the way he offered was very challenging. But we have come with a simpler thing, put you to sleep. That's where we are winning over Ramalinga. So, there you have to do this and that, and all that you have to do now. That is not required here. The only drawback here is, up to being an enlightened being, you can be a non-vegetarian, we have no problems. But if you want to go beyond that into a oneness being, you have to be 100% vegetarian, otherwise not possible. But in Ramalinga's case, even to become enlightened, you have to be a vegetarian. So, we have given some concession there, we are able to do it, but beyond that we cannot do. If you want to become a oneness being and a great light being, you have to be a vegetarian. You just cannot be a non-vegetarian. So, but it is the exact continuation of his work, but going slightly differently. But he anticipated this work and he spoke about it. That's why you will find more and more his own same style Jyoti will be in all our things also.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, if Paranjyoti is not responsible for creation, then who is or what is?
As I told you earlier, Paranjyoti is not the creator. We do not have a creator God. So, who is responsible? Universal laws and universal intelligence. That only is responsible for all the rise positives and all the negatives. It's the universal laws and universal intelligence. We won't be going into that right now. That's not so important for us. That only is creating this universe, not God, because God does not exist. A creator God does not exist. Not Paranjyoti. So, it is universal laws and universal intelligence.
Thank you, Bhagwan. Next question, Bhagwan. Dear Shri Bhagwan, what is the future of 74,000 people who helped in this work after leaving the planet?
Well, that we will take up next time. We will take it up next time. So, love you all so much. So, please participate in today's evening's program and try to get the Antaryaman fast. Once Antaryaman is in place, we fly. We fly like a rocket. Love you all so much.